2020. For all participants who have joined together via Zoom today, as shown on the screen about the rules, please to be able to change the name or rename yourself in Zoom meeting with the original institution format followed with your name, yeah, with your full name. For example, maybe UGM strip Riandika, maybe, yeah, or the others. Yeah, once again, for all participants who have joined together via Zoom for today's meeting, as shown on the screen about the rules, please to be able to change the name or rename in Zoom meeting with the original institution format, followed with your full name. And before we start our agenda today, we would like to inform you to please be able to mute the audio on Zoom's meeting, and also please to be able to turn on the video during this agenda. Thank you, and the ceremony will begin soon. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And once again, welcome to all participants on Indonesian Rectors Forum 2020. Once again, for all participants who have joined together via Zoom for today's meeting, as shown on the screen about the rules, please to be able to change the name or rename yourself in Zoom meeting with the original institution format, followed by your full name. For example, maybe UGM, followed with my full name, Riandika Adityawan. And before we start our agenda today, we inform you, please to be able to mute the audio on Zoom's meeting, and also please to be able to turn on the video during this agenda. Thank you, and the ceremony will begin soon. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Your
wabarakatuh.
Excellencies, Indonesian Rectors Forum Chairman, the Honorable Rector Universitas Gadjah Mada, the Honorable invited guest speakers, and all of distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and all of participants today. We wish you a good afternoon and welcome to Indonesian Rectors Forum in collaboration with Universitas Gadjah Mada and IPB University on today, 3rd of December 2020. Indonesia Rectors Forum on today meeting taking a theme about the hacking the global pandemic, thinking like there is no box for innovative education in the aftermath of COVID-19. We are now, the global pandemic of COVID-19 is real. It comes not only as another form of disruption, it also accelerates existing disruption. In short, COVID-19 confirmed that the world is full of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity or VUCA. The Indonesian Rectors Forum, in collaboration with Universitas Gadjah Mada and IPB University, is conducting a fireside conversation or UGM talks on hacking the global pandemic. University leaders in Indonesia will engage in a friendly yet meaningful conversation on how to think differently in dealing with COVID-19 and especially its aftermath. And due to a COVID-19 pandemic, the event conducted virtually using online conference platform Zoom. On today's event, in between opening, welcoming speech from Rector Universitas Gadjah Mada, keynote speech, and continued with a plenary discussion with all of the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, let us start today's agenda with listening to Indonesian national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we are moving to our next agenda. There will be an opening remarks from Rector Universitas Gadjah Mada. We would like to invite Professor Panut Mulyono, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Adit. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon all of you. The Honorable Chair of the Indonesian Rectors Forum, my good friend, Professor Arif Satria. We also have here four prominent speakers, the Pro Vice Chancellor for Research and Knowledge Exchange, the University of Nottingham, Professor Kim Jessica Louis Garner, the Vice Rectors of Cooperation and Alumni of UGM, Professor Paripurna Sugarda, President, Southeast Asia, Pacific, and South Korea at Rolls-Royce, Dr. Vicky Bangu, Academic Director of the Global Relations Office and U.S., Professor Chin Wee Song, Honorable Education and Cultural Attaché of Indonesia in UK, Dr. Arif Rahman, Honorable Rectors and Vice Rectors of Indonesian Higher Education Institutions, distinguished guests and participants, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Universitas Gadjah Mada, UGM, I really feel honored to welcome you all to UGM for this international webinar, Tackling the Global Pandemic, organized by Indonesian Rectors Forum in collaboration with UGM and IPB University. In this opportunity, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the chair of the Indonesian Rectors Forum, speakers, moderator, committee, rectors and vice rectors of Indonesian higher education institutions, and all of the participants. Even though it is virtually conducted due to COVID-19 pandemic, I hope you can still feel the warm, vibrant, and welcoming atmosphere of Yogyakarta, the city of education and culture. UGM is privileged to host this event organized by the Indonesian Rectors Forum. We are honored to closely collaborate with our colleagues from IPB University. I personally thanks Dr. Danang Srihatmoko, the Director of Partnership, Alumni and Global Initiative of UGM, and his team for the hard work and smart work behind this event. This month happened to be 21st anniversary of UGM, and it is an honor to celebrate our journey with our good friends from all over Indonesia and other parts of the world. This year became a challenging year for everybody, and UGM is no exception. Hence, the celebration of the 71st anniversary is different from those of previous years. Just like what we are doing now. A lot of events have been conducted virtually. We are adapting the new situation. It has been almost a year that we do things differently due to COVID-19. After a while now, we get used to teaching online. After a relatively painful adjustment, we hope that we are now more comfortable to communicate without physical interaction. It does not matter whether we like it or not. The ways we do things have changed dramatically due to COVID-19. This also applies in the world of higher education, where adjustment and adaptation are inevitable. Ladies and gentlemen, in this very forum, we are going to share ideas and experiences in dealing with the global pandemic of COVID-19. We are going to learn from each other how we, instead of become victim and hijack the global pandemic and utilize it as a milestone for a giant leap for the future of education and work. I remember, together with Nottingham, Coventry, Warwick, IPB and IPB, we have just established UK-Indonesia Consortium on Interdisciplinary Sciences, UKIS, an example of collaboration that we need to strengthen in the future. In a fireside conversation style, we are going to discuss with 4 prominent speakers with my colleague, Dr. Imade Andi Arsana, as the moderator. Thank you so much, Pak Andi. This is a conversation, not a lecture, neither preach. So we invite everybody to have their say. In this difficult situation, we want to win this battle, and we want the history to regard us as fighters. That we do not surrender without fight. That the education institutions become the frontliner in finding solutions when humankind needs it the most. Once again, welcome to UGM. Let us have an engaging and productive conversation. Thank you very much. God bless us. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opening remarks, Rektor Universitas Gadjah Mada, Professor Panut Mulyono. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start to have a discussion in plenary session and listening to a keynote speech, let us take a photo session together, yeah? Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, before we take a photo session together, please to turn on the video first, and we will be ready to be captured. The photo session will be taken for 3 times, so let's start for the first time. 1, 2, 3. For the second times, 1, 2, 3. Once again, for the last time, 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now we are moving to our next agenda. We will listen together to the keynote speech. The keynote speech is about the hacking the global pandemic, thinking like there is no box for innovative education in the aftermath of COVID-19. The keynote speech will be delivered by the chair of ERF and also as a rector of IPB University for about 15 minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Professor Arif Satria to deliver a keynote speech.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Terima kasih. Thank you very much. Selamat siang. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable, my best friend, Professor Panut Mulyono, Rector of Universitas Gadjah Mada. Excellency Professor Dame Jessica Louis Corner, Pro Vice Chancellor for Research and Knowledge Exchange at the University of Nottingham. Excellency Professor Chin Wee Song, Academic Director of the Global Relations Office, National University of Singapore. Excellency Dr. Vicky Bangu, President Southeast Asia, Pacific and South Korea at Rolls-Royce. Excellency Professor Paripurna Suganda, Vice Rector for Cooperation and Alumni of University Gadjah Mada, and Vice Chairman of Forum Rector Indonesia, Honorable Imade Andi Arsana, as a moderator from Universitas Gadjah Mada. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and great pleasure for me to attend the conference today. And this very good moment allow me to share my perspective and my point of view on how universities or higher education institutions overcome challenges, risks, and develop best strategies in the disruption era. I will start this presentation with Charles Darwin quotes. He said that it is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. Of course, the statement was not to say that strength and intelligence are not important, but rather that environments change over time, and whatever threats an organism face, they must be flexible enough to live in the changing environment. Today, we are living in a VUCA world: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, that require a set of skills, including adaptive mindset, flexibility, collaboration, complex problem solving, and innovative characters. In the global environment, we are dealing with the great disruption accelerated by technological revolution that result in changing of business, competencies, and skills, and changing of educational landscape. To deal with such disruptions, we need new mindset, new attitude, and of course, behavior, a new way of doing things to deal with the disruptions. We need growth mindset, not fixed mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that intelligence can be developed, while a fixed mindset is one that assumes abilities and understanding are relatively fixed. The growth mindset allows people to value what they are doing regardless of the outcome. They understand that they can change the most basic characteristics such as talents and abilities. Ladies and gentlemen, currently the people around the world face the COVID-19 pandemic that has heightened uncertainty over the economy, employment, finance, relationship, and of course, physical and mental health. During this pandemic, we realized that uncertainty is inevitable. The COVID-19 pandemic has upended nearly every aspect of life, from the personal, like how people live and work, to the professional, how higher education institutions interact with their students, how customers choose and purchase products and service, how supply chain deliver them, and so on and so forth. In higher education, COVID creates various uncertainty, such as implication for teaching and learning, implication for student enrollment, equity and experience, implication for faculty and staff, implication for infrastructures, implication on the focus of research and topics, reorientation and refocusing community service program. And the coronavirus pandemic are reshaping higher education in many ways. I think the crisis has cast a bright light on deep inequalities, not just in who has device and bandwidth, which are critically important, but also who has the skills to self-direct their learning. The coronavirus crisis has made us realize that education institution not just a place of learning, but of socialization, care, and coaching of community and shared space. And then the next point is about the shift from just content dissemination to augmenting relationship with teacher, personalization, and independence. The next is the coronavirus crisis has prompted us to invest on infrastructure to accommodate health protocols such as improved student dormitory facilities, bus shelter, sport facilities, as well as laboratories. And also we need to facilitate sophisticated and advanced training for the faculty members and lecturers on high-touch teaching learning methods. And also rigorous financial support will take place on all needy investment. And virtual engaging environment with the community will need a very agile mindset of the higher education leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, on research and community service management, the coronavirus pandemic has given us a strong lesson, especially on firstly is about how crucial to innovate research design to be more friendly with technology and uncertainty. Secondly, how to utilize a big data set, meta-analysis research, and other scientific approach virtually. Thirdly, how to formulate research strategies using a new normal approach. It will need an agile mindset, thinking out of the box or even no box to solve research problem after coronavirus pandemic. It cannot be done that it cannot be done the way we used to do in the normal condition. And the last one is how to establish a new approach on communicating and collaborating with communities where researchers have ability to adapt quickly, flexible, and agile to deal with disruption and uncertainty. Ladies and gentlemen, apart from the negative impact, the COVID-19 crisis also has created significant opportunities to grow. As already happened during the World War II, Second World War. As one of the largest events in human history, World War II spawned numerous important inventions and innovation that still affect modern life, such as computers, antibiotics, radar, jet engine, nuclear power, and so on. It has also happened during the SARS outbreak. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to create innovation, we might need to go beyond the notion of best practice. This is not to say that best practice cannot be useful. On the contrary, best practice are necessary, but not sufficient. We must identify and experiment with future practices. Future practice creates the space for exploration. The vision of next practice is to drive change and to imagine what the future will look like, laying the red carpet to new opportunities. With future practice, Uber become the world's largest taxi company, owns no vehicles. Facebook, the world's most popular media owner, creates no content. Alibaba, the most valuable retailer, has no inventory. And Airbnb, the world's largest accommodation provider, owns no real estate. Ladies and gentlemen, in terms of COVID-19 and higher education issues, together we have great challenges ahead, but at the same time, also many great opportunities. By working hard in hand, we will meet the challenges and build a better and bright future. I'd like to close my speech with the words of Abraham Lincoln. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Thank you very much, Prof. Anud, to be host at this conference
Thank you so much.
FRI, and also chair of vice chairman of FRI, and also the member of FRI who attend this conference this afternoon. I do hope that my sharing today can be beneficial for all of you. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Give virtual applause for Professor Arif Satria for the keynote speech. Thank you very much. And we do hope that the innovation from university and also the higher education in Indonesia can help the handle to COVID-19 so that this pandemic will end soon, yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, we will continue the agenda today with the plenary session. For the plenary session today, we have 4 speakers who will share experience and also knowledge with us. The first speaker, we have Professor Dame Jessica Loikoner, Pro Vice Chancellor for Research and Knowledge Exchange at the University of Nottingham. The second speaker, we have Professor Chin Wei Song, the Academic Director of the Global Relations Office, National University of Singapore. The third speaker, we have Professor Paripurna Sugarda, Vice Rector for Cooperation and Alumni, Universitas Gadjah Mada. And the last speaker, we have Dr. Biki Bangu, President, Southeast Asia, Pacific and South Korea at Rolls-Royce. The discussion will be led by a moderator. He is the head of Office of International Affairs, Universitas Gadjah Mada. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question to our speakers today, please kindly type it on the Zoom chat section, yeah? So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start the discussion. Please welcome to our moderator today, Dr. Imade Andi Arsana, please.
Thank you very much, Afternoon, Mas Adit. I hope you can hear my voice clearly, Mas Adit. Is it good?
Yes,
it's good.
Clear and loud. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege for me to moderate this very important session with prominent global academic leaders from different parts of the world. And my name is Imade Andi Arsana. Please call me Andy for short. I think from what Professor Panut and also Professor Arif Satria just mentioned, we understand that global pandemic -19 has brought us reason to do things differently. And the life process of higher education is not an exception on that. And while some certainly see this pandemic as a disaster, we want to see this as a as an opportunity for change. I mean, so in short, we would like to have this, how to hijack this global pandemic. And how to do that, we are going to listen to 4 prominent speakers. I would like to introduce to you one by one. I'd like to first say hello to Professor Dame Jessica Loikoner. Professor Corner, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Very pleased to be with you.
Thank you so much for coming, Professor Corner. Professor Corner is the Pro Vice Chancellor for Research and Knowledge Exchange at the University of Nottingham. And the second one, we are going to have Professor Chin Wei Song. Professor Chin, how are you?
Hi, thank you for the invitation. Thank you, Dr. Andy.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. And the third one is our very own Vice Rector for Cooperation Alumni at Universitas Gadjah Mada, Professor Paripurna Sugarda. Pak Parip, matur nuwun. How are you, Pak? Okay, right. I think Pak Parip will be with us soon. I think he is already with us. The fourth one is I would like to welcome a good friend of UGM, Dr. Biki Bangu. Dr. Bangu, how are you?
Very well, thank you, and pleasure to be here. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you so much. It has been a while since your last visit to UGM, Dr. Bangu. And Dr. Bangu is the President, Southeast Asia, Pacific, and South Korea at Rolls-Royce. Now, we are going to give the first opportunity to Professor Dame Jessica Loikoner to deliver her remarks before a very short Q&A after that, because we understand that Professor Corner would like to have another preset agenda. Professor Corner, the time is yours, probably 10 or 15 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And it's really great to be part of this very important and actually exciting meeting. I was interested in the choice of the title, Hacking the Global Pandemic. I mean, it could have 2 meanings, because hacking sometimes means actually getting unauthorized access to computer data and systems. But it has another meaning, which is also about coming to grips with something and getting skillfully getting to grips with something. And I think this is what you're choosing for this conversation today, which I would characterize as a time of extraordinary sharing. And I'm going to just put my, sorry, I'm just going to put my
You'd like to share your screen?
Yeah, for my slides.
Are you allowed already, Professor Kona?
Yeah, I'm just trying to share my screen with you.
Yes, it is on already.
You have it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. Yes, I would want to characterize it as extraordinary sharing. In January, it was the Shanghai Public Health Center that published the initial viral genome for SARS-CoV-2 on 2 open access sites. They were praised, our colleagues in China, while facing the extraordinary circumstances in Wuhan, for the fastest sequencing effort ever. And later that month, doctors in China reported the first description of this new disease in the Lancet. And that set off this extraordinary moment of sharing around the world the efforts to try and start tackling and solving this disease. And very soon after that, all major journals rolled back their embargoes on the preprint being done elsewhere in other journals. And since then, there's been this extraordinary adaptation to the pandemic, where, as we've already been hearing, we all have transferred our efforts into the virtual online world for teaching, for research, for using technology, for review panels, for research, for getting over geographical restrictions when we can't get on aeroplanes to talk to each other, to collaborate like today in real time. It's been absolutely extraordinary. And just turning back to that, the revolution in how we're sort of sharing the findings of research, the fact that the journals have sort of stopped this embargoing of preprint publication of research results, have meant that the preprint archive environments, platforms like bioRxiv and medRxiv, the NIH and so forth, have had this extraordinary increase in the way preprint data is now being published, where there's sort of doubling of the numbers of papers and articles and other things that are being published through that. And that has really enabled us around the world to share our insights into the genome, into developing the vaccines for COVID. In my own university in Nottingham, we developed our own, like many universities, ability to test for COVID for supporting our local hospital, and also to start trying to control the disease amongst our own students. But to do that needed to go from a standing start of not being able to do this test for COVID right through to developing all the laboratory procedures, working out the best ways to do that, sharing that with other laboratories and colleagues. And it's been done through these archive preprint journals. So it's been very exciting and such a sort of extraordinary efforts going on. And it's become this real sort of model now of a new way of scientific communication that breaks down barriers, encourages collaboration, speeds the dissemination of intellectual property, and dramatically broadens the audience in which we can sort of share these innovations in real time. Also, I think there's been this extraordinary moment of being involved in different innovations. I mean, in my own university, we've been a site for the recruitment of participants in the Oxford vaccine trial. We were a site for coordinating the recovery trial that showed that dexamethasone was an effective treatment, the first treatment for COVID. We're one of the hubs for the genome sequencing of SARS-CoV-2, which means that we can track the particular strains of the virus that are coming into the UK and into our own area, and even amongst our own staff and students, and understand how they're emerging while sharing those findings with others and around the world. We've got groups of economists who are working with our Bank of England around the business impact of COVID, so that we can monitor that and the government can make decisions. We've got things like a serology platform, and so it goes on, as well as monitoring of the sort of social consequences among working class women, among the problem of modern slavery, and looking at it in criminal exploitation, which is unfolding because of the pandemic. So this is sort of extraordinary set of things that we're going on. And we've also been able to work collectively with others in a different way. And on these slides, I have some examples. So with colleagues in India, AMS India, with Brunel University in London, and with the University of IIM in Bangalore, we are working to develop a real-time COVID-19 detection dashboard for the Karnataka state, which can monitor outbreaks by looking at the language of symptoms being used in social media like Twitter and Facebook. Also use temperature sensors in public spaces, and combine that with how resources are being used by hospitals, the availability of PPE and ambulances, for example, to create this dashboard for that region. Now, my colleagues who are doing this with colleagues in this collaboration have actually never seen each other physically for real. They're doing it all via a collaborative virtual sort of network. Likewise in Sweden, colleagues in Sweden at Uppsala University are studying acute kidney injury as a result of COVID. And of course, we're a centre for the world in MRI scan imaging. And what we're doing with Uppsala in Sweden is analysing for them their scans of patients who have been in ITU and on ventilators and so forth, and are at risk of acute kidney injury. And we don't need to meet in person to do that. We can just do it through transferring data. And then for colleagues here on this call, very, very exciting. We've established a collaboration with yourselves in Indonesia, with our lead academic, Bagus Majadi, who's a member of the Indonesian diaspora, and I believe is part of this meeting today, where we are looking at sustainable transportation around the electric vehicle and electric aircraft infrastructure. And how might that be developed within Indonesia, drawing on understanding of emissions of carbon dioxide in cities where there's poor air quality, and can understand that, to develop a roadmap for the electric vehicle industry for sustainable transport systems, helping to develop targets for reducing emissions, and thinking about how that could be worked on in cities, which will also develop evidence-based policies. And we're very pleased that we, as a university, have managed to put some quite serious amount of funding into this, which we can draw down from our government, which is designed for working on global challenges, research projects. And then finally, I think we've been working on tackling the pandemic together in meetings like this, where we've had a collaborative webinar with a large number of attendees and our own Asia Business Centre and colleagues from this collaboration, as well as the Indonesian Consortium for Interdisciplinary Science, to look at how we might work together around solving many of the problems that we're talking about today. So it's very exciting, despite the challenges and difficulties. What has been a real strain for everybody. I think what I've experienced is this extraordinary effort and energy to adopt new ways of working and to really drive forward solving the problems that we face together. So thank you very much. I look forward to our ongoing collaboration.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Corner, for making this short and sweet, yet very inspiring at the same time. Thank you very much. You mentioned clearly about the existing or the newly established collaboration of UKICIS, United Kingdom Indonesia Consortium on the Interdisciplinary Science. I know here also we have Professor Bagus, the one who is behind actually the consortium. How are you, Mas Bagus? Are you good?
Thank you very much, Pak Andi. Good to see you again.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Jessica.
All right. Now, because we understand that Professor Corner will have to leave soon. If anybody has a question specifically to Professor Corner, would be happy to entertain. Please, ladies and gentlemen. All right. While we're waiting for a question from the audience, I think we have a question for you, Professor Corner. You very nicely mentioned about, oh, hang on. I don't want to take this opportunity because there's a question for you. I would like just to read this question from Eka Satyaputra. Thank you very much, Matur nuwun, terima kasih. To Professor Dame Jessica Corner, interdisciplinary in higher education, to my best of knowledge, was first discussed in 1970 in a seminar conducted by University of Nice, sponsored by OECD and France Ministry of Education. What is the difference in the conversation of interdisciplinary last time and today? What is your...
It's a very, very good question. I think probably back in 1970, I wasn't at that meeting. I think I was at school at the time, so it's quite a long time ago. What would have been referred to would be different disciplines coming together, possibly to work on a project, but stay working with their own discipline, really, actually. And they were sort of working alongside each other, possibly. I think what we talk about now are two things. We talk about transdisciplinarity, and we talk about convergent science. And I think with those terms, what we're meaning is the genuine bringing together of different perspectives and disciplines that are literally joined together in the working of them, rather than disciplines working alongside each other, but staying within their fields. To bring together, you know, engineering and biochemistry, for example, or social science, and literally join those things together to solve challenging problems that we couldn't do otherwise, whether it's new materials or, for example, in the COVID pandemic, how do we solve some of the things? So it's a kind of throwing together in the way that we probably weren't talking about in 1970. And my experience is that I don't think academics always know how to do that. I think their tendency is to meet in a meeting, but go back to their silo when they're out of the meeting and carry on, rather than working out how to put those different disciplines into a new methodology, for example, that's in a way that wasn't done before. So that's our challenge, is how do we sort of develop those skills to do that, I think.
All right, thank you very much. Bapak Eka Satyaputra, I hope Professor Corner already addressed your question very well, I reckon. Professor Corner, I'm not really sure if you have a couple of minutes or you...
Yes, I'm fine. I have a little bit longer, actually, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Let's go back to...
Okay, this is the beauty of the online webinar, if you would understand. Sometimes we can hear a lot of different voices and noise, but that's okay. I am impressed how you actually noticed that the collaboration actually take place even more now with the situation where we cannot really meet other people physically, which I agree. If it is not because of the COVID-19, probably UKICIS might not be in place as yet, I think Mas Bagus would agree with that. Now, what do you think we should do in the future? Because we are going to have this new normal thing to basically to keep this good practice when we have those opportunity later on, maybe in next year or in 2 years, when we already have all of this ability to see each other. How we are going to capitalize this one, that the good practice that we already have, to keep it and then to basically to utilize it to improve our collaboration in the future. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we all say we're never going to go back to how we were, but the tendency is to quickly forget. when we're free, when we've all had the vaccine and we're all sort of able to get out and about, like we, you know, the real danger is that we will go back to exactly how we were before. Okay. So we mustn't do that. So for example, some things that I think we're thinking about, like this way of meeting and talking and being able to share things, we're not expecting our colleagues to do so much international travel. I think it still is really important to meet with each other face to face, eat together, talk together. You know, that's the way relationships are built, aren't they? But actually, we can do so much more. The pace at which we can do it is so much faster. I joke because I will be saying to my family later today that I was in Indonesia, you know, first thing, but I was back in Nottingham for coffee, and then in London probably at lunchtime. Well, how much can you do in a day if you don't have to add 10 or 11 hours of air flight? Bihi Bangu might not be so pleased me saying that, because obviously we have the future of sort of our aircraft industry to think about as well. We will still be traveling. So we mustn't go back to those habits, but we need to develop the technology platforms like this, so they're a bit more sophisticated than they are right now, and create into them the ability to have those virtual conversations as if we were in the bar or by the coffee machine, you know, in the corridors where those wonderful creative conversations happen. That's what we need to find a way of doing, because it's really important. So I think we've got to push forward the technology and not let ourselves forget what we did in this time.
Right. Thank you very much. You is very positive comments that you have. We certainly have done a lot, and your message is not to forget things too easy, and to keep this good practice in the future. All right, I'll keep it until that point at the moment, if you allow me. And then now we are going to listen to Professor Chin Wei Song. How are you, Professor Chin? It has been a while since our last meeting.
Hi. Good afternoon. Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure. Yeah. Professor Chin will be talking about internationalization in a post-COVID world. So, Professor Chin, the time is yours, probably 10 or 15 minutes. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and also to all the distinguished guests of Indonesia over here. Thank you also to the organizer for the kind invitation. I'm Wee Shong, the Academic Director of the NUS Global Relations Office. Firstly, I think I would like to convey a sincere apology from our NUS President, Professor Tan Ling Chai, because he had promised earlier to join, but he just couldn't join this panel due to last-minute commitment. So if the duty was given to me kind of last week, and I thought since I'm in the Global Relations Office, I would like to share with you today a broad overview of NUS and the kind of work we do, and hence the topic of internationalization in a post-COVID world. So let me share my slides.
Yes, please.
Oh, I think I'm not allowed to share.
Mas Andri or someone from the organizer, can you please allow Professor Chin to share the screen?
Was this disabled?
Yes, can we have 1 or 2 seconds? Mas Izzat? Okay, yes, I think you are now the co-host. Please, Professor Chin.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, okay, I'll just get started quickly. So, NUS, that's our sort of a vision. We aspire to be a leading global university shaping the future. So this should be characterized by world-class education and scholarship and a community of people together in a spirit of innovation and enterprise. So that's the kind of promise we would like to entail. So at NUS, we seek to nurture students to be global citizens. And I just show you here some of the numbers here. And we hope to cultivate students to have positive mindset. They should be able to appreciate cross-cultural differences, especially we are now central in the Southeast Asia, which is the diversity and the dynamics of all these different cultures. And we also hope that our students can be effective in diverse setting, and this is especially in the case of having a crisis as such. How could our student adapt to changes? So we offer a broad range of curriculum and multiple pathways for students to maximize their potential. And in order to enhance students' understanding of the world, which is very crucial for the very survival of Singapore, being a small country surrounded by all the other big countries here, we must ensure that our students understand the world, and we need to enrich their learning. So we have established partnerships with many universities all over the world, and we send about 2,500 of our students every year on so-called the student exchange program. Of course, that also means that we have about 2,500 students that are on exchange from international all over the world coming to NUS. And a majority of them actually live in our residence on campus or live in our university towns, colleges. And our students hence has also a very ample opportunities to interact directly with the exchange students. So we talk about internationalization at home. So we are bringing the world into NUS. So since 2002, we have been running this flagship entrepreneurship program we call the NUS Overseas College Program, or NOC for short. The unique program is we allow students to gain access to these 11 different global entrepreneurial hotspots. So they go there either a semester or full year, so they can work as a full-time interns, or at the same time, they're attending courses at our partner university in these locations. So this was started in 2002. And we're glad to say that by today, we already have about 3,000 of our students go through this program. And we have quite a number of startups founded, more than 650 startups founded by our so-called NOC alumni. So if you look at the 11 locations, you can see that we are spanning all from America all the way in Europe and also China. China, we have a few. And also now recently we have one at Nagoya. And we also do quite a bit of other entrepreneurs program. So in these slides, I will just briefly illustrate to you. So these are the various offices at NUS. And I'm from the Global Relations Office, but we also have the NOC, which is under the NUS Enterprise. And we have also the Center for Future Ready Graduate CFG, and the School of Continuing Lifelong Education Scale. So all these are together, we work together, and we would like to create a global experiences for our students. And the other part of the work that we do at the Global Relations Office is also the strategic partnership or engagement with other universities of like-minded. And I think this is something which we pay a lot of emphasis on to achieve impactful partnership and collaboration. Of course, the collaboration could be in many fronts, research as what Prof. Connie was sharing just now, and also in terms of our student development. Okay, so at NUS, because we know that we are centered in Asia, or we are in a part of the Southeast Asia, we believe that a rising tide will lift all boats. So that's why we have always been committed to setting aside resources to enable a better Asia through capacity building program. So I show you two examples here. We have partner, sponsors, organizations, and university also to deliver quality and high impact capacity building. And this is one we are very active in the ASEAN University Network, that is the AUN, Quality Assurance Network. So the AUNQA is established as the ASEAN Quality Assurance Network in higher education. And they share the responsibility to promote quality assurance and raise the quality of higher education in the region. The other program which we are also proud of is the program for leadership in university management, and which was launched in 2012 with the support of the Temasek Foundation. And this program gathers top and rising university leaders in Asia to network. And you see here with our president sharing ideas with all the other leaders of the university around the region. And hence we can both build personal relationship, and at the same time, we can share challenges and how to tackle all these challenges together. So since the program was launched, I think more than 150 ASEAN university leaders have attended the program. One other effort that NUS has also embarked for capacity building in Asia is through the setting up of this Block 71, which we embark on co-working and incubation support within Asia. So in 2011, we have our own in-house incubator, but we realized that we have not enough space in there, and we kind of rented a Block 71 in Singapore and opened it as a site outside of NUS, but to provide the our student startup a place to grow while they are still near to the university resources. So shortly after that, we realized that this can be a very good hub to aggregate the larger entrepreneurial community incubators, you know. So quickly, this Block 71 in Singapore has become Singapore's sort of startup hub. So you can see here, we have already established this Block 71 in various locations. In fact, in Indonesia, we have Jakarta, we have one in Bandung, we have in Jogja. And recently, we have one in Ho Chi Minh City. So I think it is something that we would like to work with together with government and corporate partners, in addition to building bridges between Singapore and overseas markets. It also become an ecosystem builder. So it becomes an ecosystem where the startup community can come together, have events, programs, initiatives together. Of course, now we can also do that in a virtual manner. So in the next few slides, I would like to just tackle on this problem. So what happened if post-COVID? And in the very center of the international office, we know that human touch is very important because we need to build the strong people-to-people relations, and then we can bring it forward to do more things for the future. So in the midst of pandemics, we have started this. We want to reaffirm our close ties with our partners. And you can see that we're knocking door at all our neighbors, neighboring university. We knock at the door and then we say hello, and then we have this chatting, you know. So we want to keep this kampong spirit still alive. And we have all this virtual catch-up. In fact, I think as Professor Connor was saying just now, we actually have more meetup these days, and we can meet more people through this kind of virtual meetup. And I think this trend should continue, because we can really have a lot of very friendly catch-up with the whole team at a peer-to-peer level at the other international office. The other thing which we are hoping also, we hope to engage also our students. Well, they are kind of grounded. They cannot fly to other places. You know, Singaporeans like to fly around everywhere to tour around, but they are grounded now due to the pandemic. And we want to keep their spirit of exploration alive. So we, in the office, we actually embark in this seeing things differently. The C is Southeast Asia. So we want the student to understand that it's important for our student to realize that the economic and cultural vibrancy of the region as a whole is actually an advantage for us, and we should not lose sight of this even during or after the pandemic. And the cross-regional collaboration should be enhanced And we kind of initiated this series of regional webinar where we have speakers from all over the Southeast Asia to share their best practices in teaching and learning. And we have 3 so far in the series. And also there's a blog set up to discuss teaching and learning issue. So we hope that such regional webinars will be can be continued and provide a chance for our faculty members in the region to build closer people-to-people connection and hence generate more collaboration. I think be it formal or informal, I think that this is one way to go forward. So the other part which we tried to do, this is a little small experiment that we did in my office. We partnered Mahidol University in Thailand to pilot and we curate a summer program virtually in July. And we have a small group of students joined in this program, 2-week virtual program to encourage maximum learning, interaction, and networking. You can see here, our Singaporean students are learning the Thai dance in Thai costume. So we have found that the students actually from the 2 institutions interacted very well during these breakout sessions, and they engage, they enjoy the learning from each other. So if you can see from here, the survey that we performed and keywords such as multicultural, cultural knowledge, open-mindedness, come out as the choice. And I think we believe that it's still possible for us to virtually carry on with some of these intercultural, to encourage the intercultural awareness and understanding, even after the post-COVID situation. And that could lead to, further on, the students will visit each other when travel become possible and to make friends. And well, here I would like to just share a quote from President Tan, of NUS president. And he says that in the past, it was a career for life, and now we are talking about a lifetimes of career. So people are talking about the half-life of knowledge and competencies. It's getting shorter. And so we have to better prepare our students. They have to be able to have a mindset to embrace the learning for 40 to 50 years. So I think, quote unquote, I quote this. And also just now, Professor Arif Satria has kindly shared with us a very inspiring quote from Abraham Lincoln. The best way to predict the future is to create it. So in the last few slides, I will just elaborate a few, 2 aspects, which is highlighted in Prof. Tan's quote here. One is the career preparedness, and another is the lifelong learning. So after the global pandemic, it's clear that the virtual space is going to be the new normal. So looking forward, our students will have to be prepared for tomorrow's career. At the same time, they need to learn how to interact, socialize, even virtually, both physically and virtually. And they need to know, embrace technology to foster learning and productivity. So
Professor Chin, I'm sorry to
set up this Center for Future Ready Graduates. So we are preparing students to strive in a world of constant change, so they must be ready for future careers and not just the careers that is currently.
Professor, can you hear me? Sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt because of the time. I think you still have 2 or 3 minutes to wrap up.
Yeah, sure. I'm rounding up. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So,
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. The Center for Future Ready Graduate has embarked a lot on the global aspect also. So we have started the global internship, which can be virtual, and also the global mentorship program, where we have professionals which are seasoned, and then they come and join us to mentor our students. And in the area of lifelong learning, which is SCALE, the NUS SCALE, School of Continuing and Lifelong Education, we believe that 4-year university education is not sufficient to prepare our graduate for a future career. So NUS actually made a promise that every student that is admitted to NUS will be with us for 20 years, and they can take any courses that is in NUS for 20 years. So they're free from the admission process again. So this is NUS SCALE. NUS SCALE was launched in 2016, And I think it was very timely that we actually look at it now, and we think we have kind of already future-proof this aspect. So within SCALE, they also set up a SCALE global arm, which will organize and host innovative programs to prepare students also for the across Asia and the world. So SCALE also run a flagship program, which is called a SCALE Global Youth Camp. The immersive learning experience through the program will go beyond the walls of classroom. And there are many topics covered in here: artificial intelligence, community leadership, entrepreneurship, industry 4.0, sustainability. And I think in the midst of a pandemic, these classes are still offered in a blended learning way and a virtual. So we hope that this also can be a part of our effort in trying to build the sustainability for the region. And this is my last slide. This also the NUS Enterprise, similarly, in the continuing in the capability to develop entrepreneurial talents, we have organized this summer program for students in the region, where they can come together and learn from each other, and really have built their entrepreneurial mindset. And the Master in Venture Creation is one of the very intensive, immersive program that we have developed to transform a mindset, really targets aspiring entrepreneurship that are wanting to launch their new ventures to success. So this is a very closely monitor and mentor sort of business development program for people who are really aim for a startup. So I think with this, I hope I give you a little perspective of the kind of things that NUS is hoping to plan and do to make us future-proof after the pandemic. So I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Chin, for a very impressive presentation. I remember you mentioned about the Block 71. We also have in Jogja. I just had a collaboration with Block 71.
Thank you. Yeah, right.
So we have been friends for quite a while now. And the second one, thank you very much for highlighting the all the programs that you have, including the summer program. Singapore and NUS in particular has been always one of the main destinations that our students really want to go.
Yeah, we can continue to work in that. Yes.
Thank you. Now, we would like to ask the third speaker. We have here Professor Paripurna. Pak Farid, how are you, Pak Farid? Pak Farid will be speaking to us about innovation and research in and education from the emerging world. So Pak Farid, the time is yours, 10 or 15 minutes. Monggo, Bapak.
Yeah, Matur nuwun. Thank you so much, Pak Andi, and Rector of UGM, Professor Panut Mulyono, and then Chairman of the Indonesian Rectors Forum, Rector of IPB University, Professor Arif Satria, Professor Dame Jessica Louis Corner, Pro Vice Chancellor for Research and Knowledge Exchange at the University of Nottingham, Professor Chin Wai Song, Academic Director of Global Relations Office, National University of Singapore, Dr. Biki Bangu, President Southeast Asia Pacific of South Korea at Rolls-Royce. And then we have also Pak Rohmat from Indonesian Embassy at UK, and also Professor Bagus, our diaspora, and also all of the distinguished guests. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the chance given to me to present my presentations with the title of Radical Innovations in Research and Education from Emerging World Post-COVID-19. Allow me to share my presentations here.
Yes, please, Pak.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yes, it's on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And this is going to be my presentations, Radical Innovation in Research and Education from Emerging World Post-COVID-19. So with the start of the COVID-19 around March, then we are kind of challenged by the nations, also by the government, what can the university do to help the nations in order to face the pandemic. And then this really encouraged our researchers to innovate something that never be even thought before. And then with the pandemic, then they start to work very hard and can produce some innovations. And for those who never come to GM or who never see our university, our university is placed in Yogyakarta, Central Java, and this is the gate of our campus. And yeah, this is with regard to the numbers at our university. We have collaboration on joint degree, double degree program of 108. We are containing of 18 faculties, 2 schools, and 21 research center. We have an international partner institutions, more than 80 partners. And then we have around 4,500 faculty members. We have alumni more than 300,000 people. And also we have a student body around 47,000 students. And among those, we have 2,000 international students per year in our university. And we call ourselves as a comprehensive university because we are contained of 18 faculties, as I mentioned before. And then 2 colleges and also 21 research center. And here is the cluster that we have. We have a science engineering cluster containing our faculty of engineering, math, and then medicine, biology, geography, pharmacy, and then dentistry. And then in the cluster of in the health and medical science, we have medicine, pharmacy, and dentistry. Sorry. And then for social humanity, we have faculty of law, economic and business, philosophy, social and political sciences, psychology, and faculty of cultural science. And then for cluster of agro-sciences, we have faculty of forestry, veterinary, and then agricultural technology, animal sciences, and faculty of agriculture. As I mentioned before, we have 2 colleges, vocational college and graduate college. If you see the red area, so the COVID is spread over all over the world. So this is really dangerous, and especially right now, many of area in our country become red area, meaning that we have to be extra careful in facing the situation. And innovation is the only way to go, so that we are trying to encourage our researchers to produce something that can help our nations dealing with this pandemic. So issue in emerging world, as we know, and in developing countries, as we know that developing countries usually, including Indonesia, is contain a high populations, low education, poverty, inefficient government, complex bureaucracy, and also high uncertainty. With this situation, then the key of innovations is to collaborate with some people, especially coming from diaspora involvement. Thanks for Professor Bagus, one of our distinguished diaspora in UK. And also we have a good relationship with alumni, and then dealing with the bureaucratic process, and then also the involvement of SMEs involvement. And then besides that, we also create a structure of pentahelix, working together with academics, business, industry, media, and then also society. And with the collaborations, we are quite convinced that we can face or even challenge the pandemics that happen right now. And the option for collaboration, COVID-19 related to research and development in our university. May I introduce some of our innovation that we got right now? The first is ventilator. We never imagined before that our researcher can just work very hard and within less than, I guess, 4 or 5 months, they can produce ventilator. And we have 2 kinds of ventilator. The first is ventilator V01, a ventilator for ICU. So this is a ventilator that can be put inside the throat. Yeah. The ventilator is a production of the Indonesian nation's children and has received the category of high performance ventilator. And this research has already been into end and successfully, and we are waiting for the license for the government to be sold, to be distributed into market. But besides that, we have also ventilator type RO3, emergency ventilator or portable ventilator with back mask that can be used as an invasive and non-invasive ventilator. And then the second innovation that almost finished doing the process of diagnostic test. And also we almost get maybe within 2 or 3 days in the future, get the license to be distributed to many institutions. Many institutions has already been waiting of the coming of this invention, so-called GNOS. It is the electronic nose, the sensor system that resembles as a human sense of smell to detect various characteristics of smells. GNOS BID is able to provide qualitative and or quantitative data of patient COVID-19 sense of smells conditions. For breath sample of COVID-19 validation is using standard swab test with PCR. And many hospitals and then institutions, industry are asking about when this product can be delivered, because using PCR test, despite it is expensive and also takes time. When you got the test right now, then you have to wait several hours or even days in order to get the result. With this GNOS, we can just wait in maybe 2 or 3 minutes and the result will be there. And then we have also RI-GHA. It's a COVID face detection tool where the result can be known immediately in 10 to 15 minutes without other additional tools or even the experts. This portable COVID-19 test tool already passed the laboratory test with samples of Indonesian people, and the test results indicate the sensitivity of and specificity of this product are very good. The difference between those two is with this test, we still need, a very small number of blood putting from the finger, while through this product, what we need is only the breath of the patient. But both are very cheap. And then, we have thermal gate scanner with only 2 meters from the object, can recognize the face and also can get the temperature of the body. And then the other specialty of this product is even though that the person wearing mask still can be distinguished. Their face can be distinguished through this scanner, so that once they are recorded by the scanner, then we can trace them wherever they go through their face detection, their feature of their face. And that we have also Viona. Viona is an N95 mask sterilizer, the result of the collaboration between Faculty of Engineering, Medicine, Public Health, and Nursing, and UGM. It has been proved as effective tool in sterilizing masks contaminated with S. aureus and P. aeruginosa bacteria. In the site of Viona, we hope that it will be able to solve the limited availability of N96 or N95 problem in Indonesia, because the number of those very important masks is limited, so that we can use it more than one time using this instrument. And then we have also COVID-19 accessories like face shield, and then also the other one is the face shield printer also produce face fit mask and adjuster mask to optimize the use of mask. Like you can see the black mask one in the middle. And then we have also here a Center for Medical Innovation and Devices. We have face shield, coverall, face shield plus coverall integration, and then hood cover for dentist, and face shield, respirator, and anti-COVID-19 door handles. And also we have so-called smart booth swab BCL at UGM. It is also provided in our hospitals, academic hospital, the outdoor. So to limit more people come into the hospital in outdoor, we can provide the booth to prevent COVID transmission at the time of obtaining the swab sample. And we have also so-called aerosuck. It's aerosol suction device caused by dental procedures. Aerosol is highly potential for transmission of infection of and COVID 2019, hepatitis B, HIV/AIDS, and tuberculosis. Here we can see the specification of those devices, and it was resulted from the collaboration between Faculty of Engineering and its partner UGM Dental Hospital, and also Jogja Presisi Technicama Industry. And also we have also hesperidine based immunostimulant products using the citrus reticulata, and then being processed, and it can be made in the three form: hesperigel, hesstring, and hesperven C+. So this drink and gel is benefit for antiviral, immunostimulant, anti-inflammatory. And other, we have VCO, virgin coconut oil, made by our university, benefits test of virgin coconut oil as a potential adjuvant therapy in COVID-19 patients. VCO is widely consumed coconut oil processed product to increase the immune system against disease. The active compounds contained in preclinical tests result of VCO has the activity as an antiviral and in immunomodulator. Therefore, it has the potential to help cure COVID-19 patients in the future. And also we have COVID-19 Gamma Box. This is a good one. It's big data management and analysis. So once a person get infected, then we can trace them. And then the big data can also trace back to whom the person is actually met in a week before he got infected. So we can inform all people that get along with this person to go to the hospital to get the swab or rapid test. This is the way of our effort in order to limit the spread over of the COVID-19. Well, I guess we have at least 12 products that we can show because of the pandemic. Then we have a kind of new spirit through collaborations among, not only inside collaborations between faculty and center of study, but also collaboration between university and also industry, business, society, government, and media, and again, diaspora, alumni, and so forth. So the key of challenging the COVID through innovation is collaborations. This is the message that we can offer to this seminar. Terima kasih. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pak Farid, for a very insightful presentation. I know that a number of people already have questions for you also, Pak, but we will hold it. And now we are going to listen to Dr. Bangu, I think you're ready. If we already listened to from three professors from the modern academic perspective, now we are going to listen to the other perspective, which is more from the industrial perspective. We will have Dr. Biki Bangu to deliver his ideas in 10 or 15 minutes. Dr. Bangu, the time is yours.
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this distinguished panel. I believe that we can all agree that our world looks and feels very different to where we started at the beginning of 2020. Many things have been uprooted. We've had significant disruptions across industries, businesses, including education. So I'm encouraged by the forum today as it addresses these fundamental and critical pillars for both the economic and societal development. So delighted to be part of this conversation and share with you the company Rolls-Royce's experience during the challenging times, and also share the industry's perspective on education in the changing world. But perhaps a bit of a background. I'm an engineer by background. I actually did my undergrad at the University of Nottingham many years ago with professors like John Clare and Greg Asher, very fond memories of. And my background is academia. I lectured at Sheffield University for a while, and more recently, I'm the adjunct professor with Nanyang Technological University here in Singapore, where I've done lecturing for quite a few years. More currently, the portfolio that I'm holding is as an executive and looking after the regional operations of Rolls-Royce across civil, defense, and power systems, the chart that you're seeing at the moment. So what I do want to talk about is Rolls-Royce is an industrial technology company. We've been changing the way the world has been powered for the last 100 years, and we plan to revolutionize the way the world will be powered for the next 100 years. And the three businesses that we have is civil, power systems, and defense. If I go through each in turn, in civil, we manufacture the aero engines for the commercial aircraft. So 34 different types of largely commercial aircrafts, regional jets, and business aviation are powered by Rolls-Royce. We use our engineering expertise, in-depth knowledge, capabilities, not just for products, but through the life cycle support of the services that we provide. Then on the far right-hand side, you see defense where we are the market leader in aero engines for military transport and patrol aircraft. We do a lot of products for combat and helicopter applications, and have a significant large scale in the naval side of things as well. And the one perhaps less talked about within Rolls-Royce and outside of Rolls-Royce is power systems, where we are the leading provider of speed reciprocating engines, providing complete power and propulsion solutions, safety critical systems for nuclear plants around the world. And more recently, we announced the delivery of 3 MTU gas and diesel engines for the Space DC data center in Jakarta. And it's great to see the initiatives and the drives in Indonesia, where the new campus is set on its agenda for green-focused data center and embracing the sustainability agenda that we are all driving towards. So we do have a balanced portfolio. So even in the unprecedented impact on the aerospace sector, we have 2 other businesses, the power systems and defense, which continue to track well for us and are delivering promising solutions. So this slide here is our commitment to a sustainable future. The persistence of COVID-19 has reinforced the need for sustainable development, both for long-term initiatives and for building resilience in our strategy. And our vision is for low carbon future that we recognize is needed for the world that we power. And we recognize that our activities have a huge impact on the world today and tomorrow. And we've always pursued clean, safe, reliable, and efficient competitive solution. And now the task is more urgent than ever. And it is because of this, our goal is to enable our vital sectors to get to net zero emissions by 2050. So a fantastic challenge for us to embrace. And technology is what is going to get us there, together with innovation that we're already embracing today, and we will continue to accelerate. If you go to the next slide, please. So the transition to a low carbon economy will be dependent on the development of technological solutions to sustainably power needs of growing urban cities and population. We see electrification as the 3rd era of aviation, bringing together solutions for land and sea-based mobility, energy solutions. And here you see some examples. The top left-hand corner is a picture of the Excel program, which is world's fastest all-electric plane with 0 emissions, which is set to hit the record books earlier next year. It is a Rolls-Royce powered solution with state-of-the-art battery technology that will beat the records, and we plan to do it over the next few months. The picture on the right-hand side, top right, is a hybrid electric locomotive that we've been deployed in rail, and the same architecture is also being used into the marine markets. And this is part of the power systems business that I was talking about earlier on. We're using electrification to pursue productivity and efficiency in energy supplies and using microgrid solutions to power parts of the world that can't be powered. The picture on the bottom right that you see there, and the bottom left is an SMR, small modular nuclear reactors of 450 megawatt type architecture. So you can see all the technologies that we're pursuing and developing and taking to the market, some already in the market today, is with sustainability in mind. If you go to next slide, please. Data and digitalization is playing a key role in the design of our products and services for efficiencies, reducing wastage, reducing undesirable emissions, bringing together products, services, and digital solutions together. So the capability of digital is key to our low carbon approach. By applying digital technologies in logistics and supply chain management, we're able to optimize the way in which we use and transport our materials. Metrics and monitoring systems with reliable data is how we monitor our aircrafts and marine vessels today. That allows us to do predictive rather than reactive maintenance. Digital lets us test new products and technologies virtually, so we know exactly what will happen and when we are able to push the digital limits and the design limits in real life. We've done digital twins of our factories to really improve operational efficiencies. So by integrating advanced digital solutions in engine design and manufacturing, we are significantly reducing material waste. There are also advances in sensors and communications and data storage, the processing power, AI capabilities, 3D printings, and we're bringing all of these technologies together to create new insights, new processes, new methods, all for efficiency improvements. So what we see that digital will do for us is the fusion between the physical and the digital across all our activities. Next slide, please. And we mustn't forget that bringing all of this together is the increasingly urgent issue of climate change, as well as accelerating the pace of technological evolution. This needs people expertise, innovators and pioneers with sincere and natural collaboration abilities across our employees, teams, and organizations. This is why we engage so closely with universities and with schools to ensure that we have the future generation that have the right equipped and skills that can drive our sustainability agenda collectively. The skills of innovating, the environmental we see today will shape the next generation of innovation. And it's not just inventions. It's about where and how people can contribute and provide significant value. Today is no longer, as you introduced in the opening, about thinking outside of the box. We need to broaden our horizons and think without the box entirely. At an individual level, we need all-rounded individuals with deep domain expertise and broad-based knowledge, ability to apply critical thinking across multiple sectors, be able to identify challenging problem statements, and then pursue with a solution. At a team level, we want diverse team with both deep insights and wide general knowledge, experience, flexible ways of working with agility, whilst embracing new concepts. Creativity and innovation continues, and more importantly, will evolve to become important as we go forward. What is also encouraging to see is that geographical boundaries is already proving less of a barrier as digital communication increases. The pandemic has shown how digital tools allow us to overcome physical limitations and connect not just with our business partners, but with the wider community as well. Recently, during the pandemic time, we created the Rolls-Royce Digital Academy back in the UK. And this was developed really by our people to share bite-sized STEM courses for schools. When students couldn't go to schools, we created content to ensure that the drive and the initiative for STEM was continued to be on the agenda. We then took this one step further, and our team built courses that we could share with SMEs so that we could share our learning with them in the tools that we developed in digital that they could apply for their applications, products, and tools. Sharing can be hugely rewarding, both for our people and also fitting with our company values. We need to be prepared for the future of work and how teams and activities, skills strengthen the business and innovation around us. Creativity and innovation comes from all ages, genders, cultures. Diverse and balanced team is proven to improve performance as well as make organizations more innovative and agile. There's a study done by the Boston Consulting Group, which shows that Southeast Asian technology companies have a strong track record of hiring women. Much better, in fact, than technology companies in many developed countries. Yet, the region still has much more further opportunities at hand in order to reach the true parity in the number of women who work in technology companies and other industries. The industry's rapid growth, need for talent, and attractive careers for all people, together with technology, can be a powerful lighthouse for change. We have seen how traditionally engineering sector has been challenged with increasing women in engineering. But this is less of a challenge today, as people can now remotely work without being confined to physical environments. According to a study by recruitment company Indeed, 2/3 of tech companies believe working from home arrangements will boost diversity. This is absolutely fantastic. All of the tech employees believe remote working is here to stay, and most of them prefer it because it provides them with greater flexibility. But we must strike the right balance between working as a team and working in the confines of an individual environment. Collaboration has always been an integral of our approach in innovating and solving problems, creating a better world with a better industry. Against the pressing need to address climate change, with the Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing challenges become much more complex, we believe in alliances, partnership, collaborations, working with MNCs, SMEs, governments, and academia. This is the key to pooling talent, resources, technologies, and capabilities to help us collectively accelerate innovations that will help not just the business ecosystem, but also the society and the economies for a more sustainable future together. Diversity drives innovation. The world is changing, and we all have a role to play to foresee the future that we want to build and collectively live in. Industries and businesses have been disrupted significantly and unexpectedly. To prevail, we must keep firm on communicating and committing to sustainability for the long term. The talent that we must develop going forward should not only focus on hard technological skills, but also on critical soft skills that can spur the further innovation and facilitate cross-pollination of ideas across teams and industries. This is a fantastic opportunity for greater emphasis within the education system to recognize the dual importance of these skills. This will require closer collaboration across academia, industry, and governments to continue developing talent and innovation that will advance the world as a whole. Thank you very much for inviting me to share with you today, and I look forward to our conversation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bangu, for a very impressive presentation. You also give us now the different perspective from the industrial perspective after listening to the three very good perspectives also from the academics. Now we have around 10 or up to 15 minutes for discussion. I would like to, there is one actually question for addressed to Professor Chin, if you also see it from the chat. Basically, from the AUNQA and PLAN program, can you share what are the main points or the most important points in building up an interdisciplinary capacity among students? Certainly, what is your experience in NUS in regard to that?
Perhaps there are 2 points here that I need to clarify. I think the AUNQA and the PLAN program are not for the students, actually. The AUNQA is for the university. It's a quality assurance sort of assessment model for the university. And the PLAN program is for the university leader, university management to come together and talk about challenges. But on the other point about interdisciplinary capacity, I think our president recently was quite onto that, because I think we do realize that interdisciplinary is the way to transform ourselves too. It's not easy, because it really requires the kind of a change mindset, not just from the students, also from the faculty members. And one of the way we try to do it is actually we are actually into consolidating the teaching program between the science and the arts and social science together. And once we do that, which we're actually launching this coming academic year, we would like students to have a very broad base of learning from each other, both in the science and the arts, humanity sense. And at the same time, they should major into they should do a more deep knowledge learning into a major. So I think it is the kind of T-shaped capability, the competency that we are talking about. And certainly you are talking in terms of about 30% of broad base and another 30% of the kind of major. And the other 30% actually in NUS, we put it as a very core where you need to learn the data literacy, you know, AI, those even as Asia knowledge, you know, in understanding Asia. So I think we are putting a few of this as very core foundation. So we are talking about a one-third kind of approach, and hopefully we'll produce graduates who are competent to join Royce and like what Dr. Vicky was talking about, you know, that both with deep and broad-based sort of knowledge. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Chin. Now I would like to go to, we know that Professor Connor is no longer with us, but we have Mas Bagus here from Nottingham University. I think Mas Bagus is kindly enough to introduce yourself later on, Mas Bagus, who you are. And yes, probably the question, what is your tips with regards to the interdisciplinary collaboration, especially for our friends in the private universities who are not really big or not that advanced as yet, but they really need to also embrace this approach. Mas Bagus.
Yeah, yes, thank you very much indeed for allowing me to partake in this great initiatives. I'm an Indonesian national through and through, and I'm currently teaching at the University of Nottingham in the UK. And then I am very pleased that today's event is happening and rather successfully as well. So I'm the director of the UK-Indonesia Consortium, the coordinator of the UK-Indonesia Consortium for Interdisciplinary Sciences, where UGM, IPB, and Nottingham, Warwick, Coventry are part of. So indeed, the question strikes to the heart of the problem the Indonesian government and people have at hand right now, because the greatest challenges cannot be solved within disciplinary brackets or something like that. So we are aware that interdisciplinary collaborations need to take place, and therefore we try to open the opportunity as big as possible to have other universities in Indonesia to join the consortium. The consortium is new, it's just 3 months old, but I think we see great prospect for having the consortium clearly delivering impacts, and so that impact is really what matters. So in regards to Merdeka Belajar, I think there's a great emphasis on competencies, which is not necessarily analogous or the same with certification. So that's a problem. One of the things that in the UK we try to do is to bridge students and their learning experience with industry. So we got projects like programs like Innovate UK and something like that, where students are seen as agents for knowledge exchange between the industry and the universities. So the consortium aims at delivering or expediting knowledge exchange and then research culture from the UK to Indonesia, but also vice versa. Now, I'm also pleased that to find out that Dr. Vicky Bangu is Nottingham graduate. Actually, I share the same building with John Clare in Coates Building. So it's a great information indeed. Now, in regards to electric aircraft, which Dr. Vicky Bangu mentioned earlier. So the first project of UK ISIS is actually trying to address the sustainable urban transportation in Indonesia. So Indonesia is a country consisted of 17,000 islands. So it's a great place where you could implement highly frequent short-haul flights. And as you know, the University of Nottingham also has collaborations with Rolls-Royce and part of the Clean Sky projects. And this is among with friends from Universitas Gadjah Mada and other UK ISIS members we're trying to do moving forward. And then certainly we welcome the participation for other stakeholders. But I think in short, that would be my answer. Thank you very much, Pandi.
Thank you very much, Mas Bagus. Now I'd like to read a question from other sources. We actually had a question for Pak Farid. Pak Farid, you still with us, right, Pak? You just mentioned very nicely about how UGM can accelerate basically the innovation. For example, in less than 5 months, I remember correctly mentioned about how our team or your team developed the ventilator. What is the strategy in this case to deal with bureaucracy, Pak Farid? Usually, it is not very easy. That how I understand that. Maybe UGM can give some tips to our colleagues here. Monggo, Prof. Farid.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pak Andi. Unfortunately, we have a very good relationship with government and also industries that is developed since long time ago. So maintaining this kind of network is very, very important. So then it is make us stronger by strengthening the collaboration among those institutions. So when the pandemic happened, then it's quite fortunate that people less, things that they usually do when they are not pandemic, So, and then we make a meeting with many people from industries and then from the government, get together and think how we face this problem and make a collaboration with that. So it is impossible for our university to finance the research and also to bring the innovation from to the market, from innovation, from research to the prototype of the product. Needs time and also needs budget, needs cost. So therefore, collaboration with industry have to be conducted. And usually there is a different mindset between industry and university and government and also society, right? So our challenge is how to put the interest of the different interests of both institutions into one objective to combat the pandemic. This is our key of success, actually. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Farid. It's very inspiring indeed. Now, the latest question that we have in the chat box is for Dr. Vicky Bangu, if I may read it. You mentioned the need of deep domain-based and broad-based knowledge.
Absolutely.
What do you think is the enabler of the deep domain-based and broad-based knowledge, individual and team? And also, actually, there is another question for Professor Chin. Maybe you can later on add the 1 or 2 minutes. All right.
Would you like me to go first?
Yes, please, Dr. Bangu.
Thank you. I think it's a great question, actually, because there's almost a left and a right. On one side, we're saying individuals need to have deep domain sort of understanding. So perhaps it's with master's and PhD type degrees. But then on the other hand, we're also saying there's a broad-based requirement. And this is where the power of team and collaboration comes together, because you need a team to be able to take an idea from creativity to invention to innovation to sort of actual realization and a physical solution. A team that consists of individuals with deep domain knowledge and a team of individuals that have the broad-based knowledge. And the power of actually being able to get the goodness from both collectively from both all the participants of that team is where you get sort of huge amount of value and potential that is unlocked. But even as an individual, if one may have a deep domain knowledge, the nature of the way the education system is also going towards the continuation of upskilling themselves. And as an individual, even if you're in your 40s and 50s or 60s, there is so much that you can still broaden your individual abilities through various sort of to keep pace with the technology advances. So I continue to do that. I continue to find opportunities to be able to upskill myself. And this requires a broadening of the sort of the aspects of the deep domain already have. So I think it's individuals being able to identify what those broad-based knowledge skills might look like for them and then continue to upskill themselves.
All right. Thank you very much. Professor Chin, do you want to say a few words about this?
Continue on the kind of a broad-based or deep learning. I think there are some people who say that it's probably easier with the deep first, and then you kind of broaden it. But we're not sure about that. But I'm glad that Dr. Bigibang will talk about the lifelong kind of learning. I think NUS is also into that because now we are putting up courses which we call professional improvement courses, PET and CET, continuing education program. And we are encouraging our alumni. That's why I was saying just now, 20 years of admission with us. So they can come back anytime, you know, if whether you're graduated with an engineering degree, you can come back to us and say, I would like to learn something about coding, or I'd like to learn something about law. So they can then come back to take some of this little module, and we would like to make this little package stackable, so that at some point when they stack in a certain way, and if they are qualified for another master degree or something, they can then have it, you know, consolidated into one degree. So I think these are some ways that we are trying. I think we need to make it more versatile. So I think it had to go back to the very fundamental, what we talk about in Chinese saying, we say, you teach them how to fish and not give them a fish. So you need to teach them how to do fishing. So I think we would like to teach our students to be very open-minded, that they will be accepting that they need to learn lifelong, and hence they will continue to do that. So one of the way I think our president have done is to give them 20 years of admission. So there is no problem for you to just come back anytime. You don't have to go through entrance exam or application again. So I think, yeah, that's what I want to share. Thank you.
Professor Chin, for a very insightful remark. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we still, of course, have a lot of questions on our mind, but just because of the time, we'll need to end this session. Very, very nice session. If I may take some lesson learned, at least for me, everybody talk about opportunities. So COVID-19 is not only about disasters, it is also opportunity for us to do a lot more. And collaboration is the key for that. I think everybody agrees about that. And people should be in the center of this issue or a matter. And one thing that everybody also mentioned is the long life learning. Thank you very much for that. If I may quote Marcel Proust, he said, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscape, but in having new eyes. So basically, it is not to find something new, but to have a new mindset or new eyes. I think all the speakers have already lended us new eyes to see this problem and this issue, so we can see it brighter now. So with that, I would like to thank all the speakers. Could we have a big round of applause for everybody, please? And with that, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I give it back to Mas Adit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pak Andi, Dr. Imdani Arsana, and also for all the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of Indonesian Rectors Forum 2020 agenda. We would like to thank to all speakers and also the enthusiasm of all participants who attend this event from afternoon until this evening. Yeah, this program will be saved on YouTube in UGM channel. Yeah, you can search it on YouTube, and don't forget to obey the health protocols to stop the spread of the COVID-19. Wash your hand often, put on your masks and physical distancing. Stay healthy. May God take care of our health. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you on the next occasion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.